Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order our meeting for Tuesday, September 2nd. Our CAO will read our land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I would like to acknowledge that we are allies of Indigenous peoples. The Township of Lucan Biddulph is located on the treaty and traditional territory and ancestral lands of many Indigenous peoples and is covered by several Upper Canada treaties. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous peoples who call Lucan Biddulph home. We endeavor to unlearn colonial mindsets and practices and to grow in knowledge. As we build meaningful relationships, we recognize contributions of Indigenous peoples and respect their leadership and partnership in shaping and strengthening our community. We acknowledge historic and ongoing injustices that Indigenous people endure in Canada, and we affirm our commitment to honoring Indigenous voices, nations, and cultures, and to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect.
Thank you, Ron. There's no additions to the agenda. There's no announcements. No disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is there any? Seeing none. Thank you. We don't have a closed session, no public meeting. We do have a delegation tonight. I will not do it the same enthusiasm as Madam Mayor would have done. I'm not even going to try. So this is it. So I'd like to welcome Brian Ropp, Warden for Middlesex County, and CAO Paul Shipway, and welcome to Lucan Biddulph, and look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you very much for this opportunity to be before you tonight. As you mentioned, I'm Brian Ropp. I'm the Warden for 2025 for the county. And I'm pleased. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Lucan Biddulph on their award of that grant. 17.5 is a large grant application, and congratulations on that. It's a privilege at this time, for the first time in a change in 26 years, I think it was. I think everybody here probably knows Paul, but Paul Shipway, our new CAO, and he's hit the road running. So we look forward to our future with him. So go ahead, Paul.
Thank you. I'm going to work off the slides if that's all right. If you go to the next one. Thank you very much for having us here today. We really appreciate our relationship we have with Lucan Biddulph, both at the staff level and the council level. So we're excited to give you a little bit of an overview of what's going on and take back any questions you may have. But really, we just want to continue the relationship we have with Lucan Biddulph. So next slide, please. Oh, you can go another one. Thank you. So as the warden pointed out, Middlesex County on an administrative front has went through a lot of change. New CAO, when we recently conducted an organizational update to the way we do financial services and human services, formerly social services. So we've made those structural changes to really focus on outcomes for our community and enhance the way we do things. And from an administrative perspective, we want to continue enhancing our collaboration. We're really proud of some things we partnered on with our local municipalities, including the Housing Accelerator Fund. We're very happy that Lucan Biddulph received funding for that, along with some other municipalities. And we think that's a prime example of how when we all work together, we can derive great benefits for the entirety of the community. And then also we're committed to listening to local priorities and pressures. We went through the strategic plan process, and we'll touch on that likely on the next slide here. But really from an administrative perspective, we're just going to continue to ask ourselves, what can we do better and how can we do it better? And we rely on your staff team and your members of council to help inform us that, as long as members of the public. So County Council on the representative side went through a process to develop the new strategic plan for 2025 to 2030. And that identifies 4 strategic priorities. And these are sort of refinements of the previous strategic plan. Economic development. There's been a lot of focus at the county that versus some of the other counties in the area, we have a higher reliance on residential tax rate versus industrial or commercial assessment base. So we're asking questions at the county level. What can we do to support our local municipalities to diversify the tax base, at the same time focusing on homes as well, because homes are where jobs go to sleep. So it's really a holistic approach to economic development. And we're hopeful at the last meeting in September, the first meeting in October, we'll come forward with a final report on economic development at the county and get moving forward, focusing more on outcomes than maybe what the economic development department at the county looks like. Collaboration and partnerships. Again, we just want to continue to enhance the relationships. We're very proud of the relationship we have with Lucan Biddulph, but we want to strengthen those with our Indigenous communities and the rest of our local municipalities and organizations within the community. So we're focusing on enhancing those, further shared services. Again, we're proud of planning, ITS, legal, all those things that we have, I think, where Middlesex County is a leader, but we'll continue to refine those. Sustainable infrastructure development. The county, by asset management standards, has some of the highest rated roads and bridges across Ontario, but we want to continue to find ways to fund those efficiently and derive benefits from working together. And lastly, adaptability and agility. The county was a leader going with decentralized services, and we want to continue to adapt to the current environment to deliver the best outcomes for our local municipalities and our local communities. So we'll continue implementing an administrative mindset that works to being flexible on a go-forward basis. Next up, this is actually one of the economic development programs. We've had the privilege to work with the Lucan Biddulph team on the community improvement plan review as part of the Housing Accelerator Fund. And one of the things that council identified and aligned well with that was it's easier for us at the county to find a program where we can fund local programs, but a local municipality can determine what its priorities are. So council has put the community improvement support program in place. Historically, it really just focused on facades and sort of accessibility improvements. What we're doing here is taking it another level, and we've put programs in place from a policy perspective where if a local municipality has tax incremental financing grants or some form of housing incentives, the county will be a partner in that and fund each project up to 50% or $25,000 per project. So it's really a new way of looking at things, and that works in conjunction with the CIP update, which just went out, and each local municipality can choose to update or not update their local CIP. But really what we're trying to do is augment and provide more resources so we can attack those areas of focus. So we're excited to see what that looks like. I know it's yet to be funded. It'll start January 1st, 2026, and it'll be subject to whatever funding council approves. We did put forward a cumulative program amount of $250,000. However, interestingly enough, it felt like council maybe wanted to go higher on that. So we'll see how budget shakes out for that. But formal correspondence will get sent out on the CISP program after council next Tuesday. So we're excited about that, and it really feels like an opportunity to make a tangible difference in all of our local communities. OPA number 4, as everyone knows, lots of planning going on. So this is a big update to the county official plan, focused on agriculture, economy, housing, and growth. And our team has been working internally to this point in time and with the Planning Advisory Committee to get basically the draft. And the way it works is we have to submit that to the process. However, there's going to be a robust engagement process with local municipalities and local staff on a go-forward basis. This is just part of the process, but we're excited about that and continue to be proud of how our planning departments function across the county. The library also did a strategic plan, and we're very proud of the work our libraries do as comprehensive resources within the community. It's built around 3 priorities: creating exceptional experiences, expanding reach, and supporting lifelong learning. So our library team is always very responsive, and within the community, if you think of programs that would benefit, we obviously want to hear from those, but we're proud of our libraries out in the community and the services they provide. The asset management plan we touched on. Everyone has asset management plans. I know Lucan Biddulph has a beautiful one. We did our first comprehensive asset management plan. It was adopted earlier this year. We had focused on roads and bridges for the most part, but we've expanded that to take in our facilities, our land ambulance, and all the migrative assets we have. So we're proud of that public-facing document. And what it really says is the county is very close to fully funding all of its assets. We can make a few tweaks on our linear assets, so our roads and bridges life cycles, and county council will consider a report in the fall about how to fully fund that. But we're close. We're happy about that. And with it, we've rolled out a ton of public-facing dashboards that highlight all that underlying asset information. And it's a fascinating read if you get a chance to go have a look at those dashboards. And also spatially through GIS lays out where every bridge and culvert is and all of our land ambulance stations. So just something we want to continue to provide transparency to what we do at the county, as we're a little more removed than the local municipality. So we're going to continue to try to provide as much information as we can. Forestry is one I wanted to throw in because when I was working strategic initiatives before I became CAO, I had the opportunity to work with the team there. And Middlesex County has a ton of managed forest across 27 tracts. And we're doing some interesting things with our forestry management plan and natural asset valuation. It's always fascinating to look at grant programs sort of for energy and climate change and look at how much carbon can be sequestered within those forests and sort of the intrinsic value of those forests. So there'll be a comprehensive report coming out on that, but it's something that maybe isn't always thought of at the county level, but it provides quite a bit of benefit. So we wanted to highlight that in the work of our forestry team. And last, new governance and administration building. So a few years ago, the county sold 50 King and 399 Rideout, and this summer, County Council approved advancing the construction of a new multi-purpose governance and administration center, more purpose-built for delivery of county services. And it'll be 18,000 square feet, so significantly scoped down in size from the location we're currently in, and be on a joint campus with MLPS headquarters. It'll enhance accessibility and provide, again, those purpose-built spaces, excuse me. We recently put up a project website. It'll be updated regularly. County Council will be getting reports on that about where we stand from construction timeline and budget. So those will be available. But target occupancy is November 2026. So in a perfect world, there'll be some interesting crossover of the final council meeting of the current term and the first meeting of the new term. So obviously one of the bigger projects the county has embarked on in a number of years. So we wanted to speak about that as well. And last but not least, it is Middlesex County's 225th anniversary, and the Legislative Services team and the warden have been doing some very exciting things out in the community. We kicked off this summer with a free tree giveaway at our library. At each council meeting, we provide some interesting facts about Middlesex County over time. I know the warden really appreciates those. I think the last one talked about the formal establishment of the county road system in maybe 1853. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
That's right.
Yeah. And I think what I'm most enjoying is the Warden for a Day contest, where we're inviting high school students to share what makes Middlesex County special. And then through a short video or essay, they'll have an opportunity to hang out with Warden Rock for a day at the county building. And there's also coloring sheets of the warden, which are also great as well. So we want to make
I didn't know about that part.
we want to make sure, you know, it is something that's pretty impressive. 225 years is a heck of an anniversary. So we want to make sure that we highlight that when we're out and about. So I think that concludes the formal portion of our informational update. And I think what we want to say is we're out here to hear from you as well. You know, we want to maintain those open channels of communication, but if there's questions, concerns, priorities that Lucan Biddulph Council has, we're happy to hear from them as well. I'll turn it back over to the warden.
Okay, thank you. If there's any questions from councilors,
Thank
we'll
you,
do the
Brian.
best we
Thank you,
can.
Paul. Appreciate that. We'll put it out to council for any questions. Go ahead.
If I may,
Councilor Reagan.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, thank you. So thanks, guys, for the report. So I was just wondering just about the library and strategic plan. So I know our library gets used a lot. And I'm just wondering, when you're talking about the strategic plan talks about reaching more people and enhancing service, is there anything specific you can share with us about how that's going to work with our community? Because I'm one of those
Go
people
ahead.
that believe if you don't use it, we're going to lose it. So I want to,
Yeah, I think, you know, I speak for Lindsay, our library CEO and director of library services, that our intention is to just continue to enhance library and library space over time. This budget, we're going to take a different approach, and we're going to try to plan out more holistically what maybe the next 25 years of library services looks like, you know, where we're at capacity, where we need more space, but nothing specific pertaining to Lucan Biddulph. But I can follow up with Lindsay and circle back But I would say this year with our budget process, we really do intend to try to construct a master plan of what 25 years of library services growth looks like in the communities, especially a fast-growing community like Lucan Biddulph.
I would just add to that, Daniel, if I may. There may be an opportunity for the health unit to come out and make more use of our library, our community library system, because of some changes that are happening there. So that would be a good part of it if they could use the libraries as well. Get them.
Thank you. Any further questions?
No, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Hodgins.
Thank you, Chair, through you. Thanks for the visit, gentlemen. I was going to ask about, you talked about the shared services, and we get IT, legal, planning, procurement, and I think in the strategic plan, it looks towards maybe increasing those initiatives, and I think they have proven very successful in the past. And I'm just wondering what that looks like, or if you're looking at any particular areas where that may grow in the future, or new shared services.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hodgins, and I appreciate you also pointing out procurement services, which I was sleeping on, but we've seen massive benefit from that so far. To be honest, we don't have any specific framework, but what we want to do is work with our local municipalities, and when a minority or majority of them have identified a service, we want to pursue that. I know there's been informal discussions about, like a grant specialist or something to that effect, but really we don't want to come down and say, hey, we have to do this. We want to hear sort of from the local municipalities. We really want to reframe that relationship so it's built on working together as equals and just trying to deliver the best benefit. So we're open to discussing anything. I know right now, council put in place a housing advocate position, which would sort of parallel a county and a local role. And it really ties to our affordable housing assessment. And council put that in place to try to enhance housing across the entire housing continuum. So it wouldn't replace our CMSM function for social housing or anything like that. And it wouldn't really be a planner or economic development. It would be something that straddles all the lines and maybe works with developers to highlight available CMHC funding programs to incorporate some affordable units to try to hit those targets within the official plan. We're currently consulting with local municipalities on what that role would look like, and we're going to report back to county council, but I would say nothing's off the table.
Thanks. I would just add, Counselor, that's a great question. I think the idea of the CAOs getting together, because every municipality might have a little bit different need or request, but for the CAOs, when they get together and bring that communication, and I believe, Paul, you're hoping to join those conversations, that maybe there is some services that we don't know about at this time, but yeah, just to continue talking like that.
Thank you.
Anything further? Go ahead, Ron.
I just want to just reiterate what Councillor Hodgins said. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Working with the county has been great. Between procurement was a very nice addition to our services that we receive and very much in need. So that's worked out very well. Legal, IT, and planning obviously was our first one, and that is going very, very well, I think. And it just bodes well for the entire county. I think consistency is the key here, and the more we can do at the county level, it's more consistent throughout the lower tiers, and it's a good thing. So thank you.
Thank you. I agree with you, and I think that's certainly a compliment to staff. And in the planning, I'll point out Dirk and the work he's done to put that team together. And I think he's put a great team together. I agree.
Okay, just one question. I was curious of the timeline. You had said target was November 2026. I'm just curious of your current rental agreement and transition, if the flexibility of that or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Mr. Chair. And yeah, so our current lease agreement runs to the end of 2026. And County Council recently worked with York to modify that to extend out to accommodate that schedule. So we'll continue to lease at $3.99 ride out until that time. And I'm certain should anything arise in the interim, County Council would consider it and go from there. But we're really hopeful that we've built in the leeway to make that work.
All right, thank you. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for coming out. Really appreciate the presentation, and great to see you every year. Thank you. As Madam Mayor would always say, you're more than welcome to stay to see how things operate here. It's gonna be fairly, we have a light agenda. It's not even because I'm the chair. We do have a light agenda, so. All right, take care. See you, fellas. I've got a recommended motion here that that the Middlesex County Local Council Update 2025 presentation be received for information. Passed by Councillor Reagan, seconded by Councillor Westman. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Okay, adoption of minutes. I got a recommended motion here that the regular council meeting minutes of August 5th, 2025 and special meeting minutes of August 15th, 2025 be approved as circulated, amended. Passed by, or you have a question? Oh, moved by Councillor Hodgins, seconded by Councillor Reagan. All in favor? And that's passed. Thank you. The consent agenda, before I read out the recommended motion, I'll just ask, I guess, if there's any comments. Listed, don't see any. I got a recommended motion here that consent items 9.1 through 9.14 listed on the September 2nd, 2025 agenda be received for information. Moved by Councillor Westman, seconded by Councillor Reagan. All in favor? And that's carried. Second here. Right here, right? Correspondence, yeah, I don't know, again, the council received the file and correspondence of items 10.1 through 10.8. If there is any comments on that. No. Moved by Councillor Hodgins, seconded by Councillor Reagan. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Committee reports, Blue Water Recycling, I don't have anything. CDC, there is two lists of minutes. I think we discussed May 27th. I'm not sure if anyone wants to comment on the 26th, but
There was, if I may,
Yep.
Chair, there are two sets of minutes for this one. On May 27th, August 26th minutes. If there are any questions, I can be happy to answer those.
Okay.
Right, thank you. And I think our next meeting is September 30th. For
Okay,
that,
thank you.
that committee, sir.
Perfect. Lake Huron, there is nothing. Fireboards, there's nothing. ABCA, TRCA, there was.
Yeah,
there's
nothing to report from ABCA. We're
Okay.
meeting again in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Thank you. Parks and Recreation, I don't believe.
There's no report tonight, but there is a meeting on the 18th, correct? 18th, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Trails, I don't believe. And then Fire Service Advisory Committee, which
Yes.
Ron is going to be speaking to 12.1.
Yeah, I just, sorry if I may,
Yep.
Chair.
Yep,
Thank
sure.
you. No, I just wanted to say
Yeah.
that there's minutes attached if anybody's any questions. And there's a motion coming forward as a result of that meeting with the CAO's report. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you. I will, again, I'll reread the motion that council receive and file the correspondence items 10.1 through 10.8,
That's you.
right?
No,
Or no?
You already did that.
Oh, I did that. Sorry, I'm already here. Jesus.
Well, you
Yeah.
know, committee report.
Yeah.
No motion.
There's no motion there. Oh, there is no motion. Gotcha. I was backing up. CAO report 12.1.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. The first report for council tonight is number 19-2025, and it's in regard to the new Director of Emergency Services and the Fire Chief position. So this is a direct result of the, you would have read the minutes of the Fire Services Advisory Committee held July 31st. There was a unanimous vote to move forward with the hiring of this new position. So I really like the title here, the Director of Emergency Services and Fire Chief position. It's a contract, 1-year position with potential for an extension if the job, if it takes longer to implement all of this. I like the term Director of Emergency Services because it really speaks to the amount of administration that this position is going to have to be dealing with. The dissolution of both fire boards and the bringing together of both stations is certainly not a small job. It's a large job. It's going to take some time. So we foresee this being a full-time position for 1 year, and that's why it is offered as a contract position. Once things get settled out, then I think we can reevaluate whether we continue on with that position and in what manner. So I think it's fairly straightforward, spelled out here what we're hoping to do. I don't know if any members of council had any questions, but I'd be happy to answer any. Or
Councillor Reagan.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I just wanted to speak just as the chair of the committee. So this went through a lengthy process to come to sort of this conclusion. The criteria with respect to the duties that they would have, establishing, regulating bylaws, levels of service, those things. So every member of that committee was involved in that discussion. Again, and there was just, I think, very well represented. So again, it's just, like I said, it was well vetted. Coming to that conclusion, I'm supporting this. I would support this, and I would tell council that I would support this. Thank you.
Councillor Hodgins.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, through you. I just wanted to ask about the duration. So it's a 1-year contract and with that possible 1-year extension. I'm just wondering, it doesn't make sense to do that contract position versus just hiring a full-time position. Like, is it going to be challenging to remove that position at some point? And then, what kind of fills the gap for that position when it would end, I guess? But what are the thoughts there on the contract versus full-time permanent?
so I think what we're trying to be cognizant of is the fact we don't want to create another full-time position if we don't need a full-time position. And while this process and implementing the fire services master plan and dissolving both fire boards, creating all these new policies and everything else, that's going to take some time. And that's why we think it should be a contract position for the first little bit. And then once things sort of, like I said, settle down, then we'll get an idea of how many actual hours a week we're talking about to fulfill those duties as fire chief.
Okay. Thanks for that answer.
Okay, maybe if I could add one more thing while you're thinking of your next question there. The one thing I do want to make council aware of is that the costs of operating fire services are going to go up. We see what's happening in other areas, and the amount of training, the amount of work that needs to be done and is really demanded of the Ontario Fire Marshal's office as well. It's the demands on the time of a volunteer firefighter is not inconsequential. It used to be, not too bad, but the amount of training that needs to be done now is ever increasing, and we don't see an end to that. We know of some municipalities that are having minimum call out hours. Now, we don't have minimum call out hours. I did ask one of our chiefs, I said, how many of our calls are sort of short duration calls or 1 hour calls? And he said 80% of our calls are 1 hour. So you can imagine if suddenly there was a 4-hour minimum call out, 80% of our calls right now, they're only costing us 1 hour worth of wages. If suddenly they were to quadruple to 4 hours, it doesn't take rocket science to figure out that's going to be pretty expensive. So it is going to cost more money. We are going to do our best to try and control those costs. And I think that's going through this process will allow us that opportunity to try and control it.
Okay, thanks for that as well. No, I think the other thing I was thinking about was I'm just going back to the fire services master plan, and the dissolution of the boards was one thing, but there were so many other tasks in that too, and lots of long-term tasks that are going to need to be done. I think there was a lot of work to be done there. So just thinking long-term, but no, I'm supportive of the motion and the work that the board has done bringing this forward. So I think, the options are you can hire someone to do it, or you can hire a consultant. And I think, we're probably going to get, better cost efficiency with hiring someone. So I'm supportive of that.
Thank you. I was thinking the same thing, as Councillor Hodgins, just on the, you know, contract position to full-time position and how that looks. But, and again, you know, this was created by both departments. That would like, there's input from both departments, and then obviously our council
Correct.
and
So-
per South Council.
Yeah, so just to clarify who sits on the Fire Services Advisory Committee, Councillor Regan is the chair. He also sits on the Lucan Biddulph Fire Area Board. Dave Goddard is also a member of the Fire Services Advisory Committee, as is the mayor. Those three comprise the Lucan Biddulph Fire Area Board in its entirety. From the Biddulph Blanchard side, we've got the Chief Rhonda Brower also sits on that committee, as does Chief Steve Tays from the Biddulph Blanchard. We also have the Deputy Mayor from Perth South, Bob Wilhelm, who's the Deputy Chair of the Biddulph Blanchard Fire Area Board. He's also a member of the Fire Services Advisory Committee. So we do have a good cross section. We did have the CAO from Perth South there as well.
To come to this conclusion.
So so it was very, like the Councillor Regan said, a lot of discussion got us to where we are with this recommendation.
All right, thank you. Well, I will read out the recommendation that report CAO 19-2025 be received for information, and further that Council of the Township Lucan Biddulph authorize staff to proceed with hiring a Director of Emergency Services Fire Chief under 1-year contract to oversee the dissolution of both the Lucan Biddulph Fire Area Board and the Biddulph Blanchard Fire Area Board, and further that the new Director of Emergency Services Fire Chief bring forward recommendations regarding new establishing and regulating bylaw levels of service, staffing compliant, equipment compliant, training, and health and safety. Get someone to move and second that. Moved by Councillor Reagan, seconded by Councillor Hodgins. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Ron, you are up next, 12.1B.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. The second motion is sort of a continuation of the in-camera meeting that council had before. So just to clarify, the in-camera portion was really in regards to the name of the unsolicited person who put the offer in and the amount. So now that those are kind of set aside, we don't talk about those, that's the subject of the in-camera session. The biggest question we had at the in-camera session was whether the trees that were planted in conjunction with the ABCA at the rear or the westerlymost part of this parcel of property, there was a question about, was there any conditions attached to those plantings? We did receive a grant. It was, I believe it was $9,950. It was 3,500 trees. I did get an opportunity to go out there twice to have a look at it. The trees, the spruce and the pine trees are actually quite a bit taller than what I had originally thought. And if you look at the Google Map image, if you zoom in on it, you can actually see the rows that are there. So there is quite a substantial number of trees that have made it, if you will. I did get clarification from Nathan at ABCA, and thank you very much to him for helping me out there. But he also said that we, at the time of the planting, there wasn't just pine and spruce in there. There was also hickory, oak, walnut, and one more. There's 4 different kinds. Anyway, so I did go back there again and have another look, and yes, sure enough, there was some in there. Not nearly as many as the spruce and pine, but they are there. I also got clarification from the ABCA because my concern was that, and I'm not an arborist, so I had to clarify that those trees look like within 5 years that they would need to be thinned out for the woodlot to mature correctly. And Nathan clarified that is kind of old thinking. They don't do that anymore, and there's no maintenance required. You can just leave it as a natural woodlot and just leave it in that manner. So all to say, at the end of the day, I do think there is value in obviously maintaining that tree parcel under municipal control. So as near as I can figure from my measurements on the map, it looks like for the municipality to retain the treed part of the parcel, it leaves a remaining roughly 9.4, 9.5 acres that could possibly be for sale if that is council's wish. So my recommendation to council is that that Lucan Biddulph retain the portion that's treed there and simply offer the roughly 9.4, 9.5 acres for sale.
Thank you, Ron, for explaining all that. I don't know if there anyone have any further questions. That it's straightforward. Yeah, we discussed it. I've got the recommended motion here that report number CAO 20-2025 regarding disposal of surplus lands be received for information, and further that council instructs staff to retain that portion of the deemed surplus lands that contain trees planted in 2021 under the ABCA. We get someone to move that. Second it. Moved by Councillor Westman, seconded by Councillor Hodgins. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And that's it, I think, Ron. I think 12.1C is Tina.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. There is a report in front of you tonight that is basically just some housekeeping from the administrative side. In 2021, we did begin an extensive review of our policy manual, and the administration, corporate, and human resources sections did receive quite a few updates, new policies in place. Finance and public works were kind of set aside because basically in those sections of the policy manual, there's more policies that are no longer applicable than there are ones of needing updating. So we're working together as staff with Public Works and Finance and the Clerk's Department to review any of those policies, and the Director of Finance and Public Works went through and identified ones that are no longer applicable, so should be repealed, so that we can provide clear direction of what is left remaining and needs to be updated going forward. I did make one small amendment to the motion. I did remove, we had a policy on there for birthdays and anniversary letters. I did remove that after a question arose, and we are going to look at actually just updating that process and providing a little bit more clear direction on it, and maybe providing some of that information on the website with a link to a form. So for now, I've removed that policy, and instead of repealing it, we're going to update and then repeal. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, there will be more policies coming back with some updates.
Any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Hodgins.
Thank you. Just a technicality then, if we're gonna be not repealing the one policy around birthday and anniversaries, do we need to amend the motion as it is, or is it?
So I did update the motion on the agenda. So the actual motion on the website agenda is the correct motion. I removed that policy number from the list.
So when I read it, I'm not going to read all them, but I am going to say as listed, but it is removed on the agenda. That, which, yeah, so you stroke that off your agenda. Yeah, so it's been updated.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so that's clear. All right, that report number CL-05-2025 be received for information, and further that council repeals the following policies as listed. Gonna move her in a seconder, moved by Councillor Reagan, seconded by Councillor Westman. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Building and bylaw, we don't have anything. Finance, we have Catherine here for budget survey results that we all look forward to every year.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is just a report for information. It's our 5th year for doing this budget survey, and a 2nd year for promoting it with a gift card as a prize draw for doing the survey. So we had a little bit less responses this year than in the past. I know we've promoted it everywhere we think we can, and also had the incentive. And only half of the respondents actually gave contact information for the draw. So again, in the past, we have a lot of the same questions just to gauge where residents are thinking about which direction to take the tax rate. Although most understand inflation factors and that's required, probably going to be a tax rate increase. We had more respondents this time ask us to try to find ways to maintain the tax rate. But that would result in service reduction, so we'll see how that goes through the budget process. And also that as an option, is maybe come up with some more user fees or that sort of thing as well. And so we added some did you know kind of questions to the survey this time, just to as more of a information and see where everybody's at with in particular we did the fats, oil, greases question, just to get some more communication on that. And yeah, so most response would like to continue with the budget survey and look at some other ways, maybe more communication in regards to that, the budget process. And then, of course, we always have our written question where we ask what project or service would residents like to see included in the budget, and a lot of the similar themes that we've had in the past. So you can see that listed there, and the information and all the answers are attached to the report. So for everyone's reading pleasure, and we will post the results on the website. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Any questions to Catherine on the budget survey results? Oh, the only comment I want to make, I find it interesting on the needs or wants of the community, and I think you have in the past. Hopefully, you will. Individually, councillors will request stuff for to be considered in future budgets. And I think you've done this before. Maybe you could put like there is a second pad in there, traffic calming. There's some stuff that's people are requesting for us to consider in future budgets or to budget for. So if possible, if you could, because if you take some of that and just even say that this is from the survey, because you have councillors that'll submit their wants maybe or needs for their area or for the community. But if you could capture any of that, that'd be great for budget. So. And at least we know where that came from, the survey, but yeah, obviously I think the only thing we wish is that there was more participation in it. But we can't help that, so thank you. I do have a recommended motion. FIN 09/2025 budget survey results here, recommended motion that report number FIN 09/2025 be received for information. Moved by Councillor Hodgson, seconded by Councillor Westman. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. Thanks, Catherine. Planning, we have nothing. Public Works, I know Jeff's away. Community Services and Facilities. Darcy, did you have anything? No. Anyone have anything for Darcy? No. Thank you. Economic Development. Lisa, nothing from her. Other business, we have here 13.1. I think this has been discussed. It's just a matter of reading this motion. Ron, if you want to brief us on it, or I can just read it.
You are correct, Mr. Deputy Mayor. This was actually brought up at the last meeting. The report actually required a motion, so the motion was prepared by Tina to be considered by council at this meeting.
Yeah, thank you. Recommended motion that council of the Township of Lucan Biddulph confirms acceptance of the following resolution passed by the County of Middlesex on July 8th, 2025, that the County Road and Bridge Assumption Study report be received for information, that a bylaw be introduced to authorize the transfer of the roads identified in Appendix A of 2025 County Road and Bridge Assumption Study to the County of Middlesex upon receipt of resolutions passed by the council of each affected local municipality. A, authorizing the transfer of the highway. B, confirming there is no debt on the highway or agreeing to pay all amounts due in respect of the highway that would otherwise become the county's obligation pursuant to Section 53B, the Municipal Act 2001. And C, agreeing to pay the county for the capital and maintenance costs of the highway as outlined in Appendix A of the 2025 County Road and Bridge Assumption Study. For Lucan Biddulph, it's $37,620 to be invoiced in 2026. Someone to move by Councillor Hodge and seconded by Councillor Reagan. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. No motions, I don't believe. Councillor comments. Councillor Reagan?
If I make two this evening very quickly, one's a prepared statement. The first one, though, just has to do with just want to reminding people that everybody's back in school. Perhaps for people driving through the community, stop signs are not a suggestion. They're actually supposed to stop. So be a little bit more aware about what's going on in the community, crosswalks, the crossing guards. Little kids are walking up and down our streets, so let's be careful, please. The other note, if I may, Mr. Deputy Mayor, is just from our friends at the Lucan Library. And this is from Lee Robinson, who's the branch supervisor. So she just wanted us to know that the Lucan Library would like to thank the community of Lucan Biddulph and beyond for their tremendous participation in their summer reading program. We had a banner year with 510 people registered, which is up considerably from the previous record last year of 425. Happily, more than 2,300 people visited the Lucan Library during the month of July alone. And the library would also like to thank their community sponsors over the summer of Dairy Lovers Ice Cream and Lucan Dominoes for their generous support of the programs, as was evident by the numbers. Kids love ice cream and pizza. Now that the summer reading program is finished, the team at the library are turning their focus to resuming their regular programming, as well as creating some fantastic one-off or short-run programs as well. Stay tuned. And Lee just says, thank you very much for all of your support. And we want to see some more great things from the library. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Councillor Westman?
Actually, just want to reiterate Councillor Reagan's statement about road safety with our kids going back to school tomorrow. They're going to be excited and they're going to be maybe not looking both ways every time, so be cautious. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Scouting and Guiding is starting their new activity year, and anybody who has children interested in coming out to Scouting and Guiding, it's a good program for the community, and we have lots of things that we can educate the kids with. We have a lot of good leaders, but we always need more. So if anyone's interested, please reach out to myself or Becky Johnson and we can help you out, or Helen Bielanda. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Alex. And that's everything. I do not have anything. Bylaws 16.1, bylaw 32-2025 to adopt and confirm all actions and proceedings of the council of the Township of Lucan Biddulph at the council meeting held on September 2nd, 2025. Recommend a motion that bylaw 32-2025 be read for a first, second, and third and final time and be adopted. Mover and second. Moved by Councillor Hodgins, seconded by Councillor Reagan. All in favor? That's passed. Thank you. Adjournment resolved that the council meeting be adjourned at 6:45. Moved by Councillor Reagan,